Let's go.
Good afternoon, racing fans. Welcome in for day 3 of Grand Circuit Racing 2019 here at the Red Mile. 8-race program this afternoon. We'll go through the changes, programming notes in a couple of moments. At this time, we would like to welcome a very special guest on track this afternoon to sing our national anthem. Olivia Tolles is the 8-year-old granddaughter of Ron and Wilma Foster, who've been involved in the standardbred industry for 54 years, currently at Dunroven Stud as farm manager and secretary, respectively. Olivia has become quite well known in the industry, has a horse named after her, Miss Olivia May, and she'll be all around that Dunroven consignment at that upcoming Lexington Select Yearling Sale. And she sings at various churches and even at the Lexington Legends Stadium to do the honors of the national anthem. So please welcome Olivia Tolles for the honors of our national anthem. And everyone please rise as we
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed by the twilight last gleaming? We brought stripes in bright stars through the perilous fight. For the ramparts we watched in so gallantly streaming. In the rocky glare, the palms were bursting in air, came through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, save that star spangled banner yet wave. Oh, in the land of the free, in the home of the brave. Playing horse.
And a great job once again by 8-year-old Olivia Tolles, who did the honors of the national anthem this afternoon. Racing fans, if you have out your racing programs, we'll take a look at the changes and programming notes as part of our 8-race Saturday afternoon program. Please note the first 5 races on the card are clear. Races 1 through 5 are clear. Do note the 5th race kicks off the pick 4 this afternoon. Again, with the shortened 8-race program, the $10,000 guaranteed pick 4, that kicks off in this afternoon's 5th race. In the 6th race, number 10 Prescient Beauty has been scratched. Again, in the 6th race, ticket number 10 Prescient Beauty, the filly has been scratched. Race 7, there are no changes. Moving into the 8th race this afternoon, we do have a super high 5 carryover at this afternoon's 8th race. No one had it yesterday, so the carryover is 1,552. And we do have a scratch in the 8th race. Take out the 8 Lady Allaire. Lady Allaire has been scratched from this afternoon's 8th and final race. And again, welcome aboard here. It's day 3, Grand Circuit Racing 2019. I am Gabe Prewitt, and pleased, as always, to be joined by my good friend and partner, Dave Brower. And Dave, it has gotten a lot warmer here today.
It has. That has been the theme of the week so far here in Lexington, Kentucky. When you and I got out of the SUV that you kindly drove me to the track this morning, we immediately noticed that it was going to be a little bit warmer today, and we don't have that breeze just yet that we had yesterday. So we've got our work cut out for us, and so do the horses.
And it's going to be warming up as the afternoon progresses. Now we could see some record-type performances here today with the warm temperatures.
Looking forward to that. We've got 4 divisions of the 2-year-old pacing colts and geldings, so we wrote the track records down. We'll spit those out over the course of the day, and they could be in jeopardy. So we're looking forward to that. And we've also got 3-year-old pacing fillies too as well.
A couple of housekeeping notes. If you're looking to stay cool while you're at the races here this afternoon, you can go over to the clubhouse. So the clubhouse is open. Again, no reservations needed, at least for now. So you can check that out. Clubhouse dining is open. Of course, Jeremy's got all sorts of great summer merchandise that you could use today down in the gift shop. He's got new merchandise arriving daily. Always a great assortment down there, so stop in and see Jeremy as well. And how about this, Dave? The Red Mile opened on this day in 1875. It's our 144th anniversary.
1875. That's a little bit before our time, right?
It was a bit before our time. If I was here, I'd probably be sharing bad beat stories from that opening day card. But happy anniversary to the Red Mile. Again, opened on this day 144 years ago. Last night they had the Grand Circuit action up at Dayton. A couple of big stakes there.
Yes, in case you missed it and were not tuned in, they had the big races up at Hollywood Dayton. The Dayton Trotting Derby and the Dayton Pacing Derby, and the Dayton Trotting Derby produced a spectacular performance by champion Manchego for Nancy Johansson and Dexter Dunn, owner Barry Guariglia of the Black Horse Racing. World record, 150-1. You and I both watched that on the phone while we were out last evening, and it was a devastating performance. She opened up on the field on the final turn and then just continued to coast away. By far, I think, the best performance that she's turned in this year.
Yeah, I agree. It was just a devastating blow. It was a nice field, but she made them just look. She was tons of best here. Opened up, won it by as many as she wanted to. On the pacing side, Jimmy Freight off the pace last night and got it done.
We have so been waiting for Jimmy Freight to get a signature kind of victory. He's just had such bad luck drawing bad posts and some difficult trips over the last couple of seasons. But last night, he finally did it. He followed McWicked, one of the favorites, to the top of the stretch. He kicked off cover for Scott Zeron and then just motored on by to a 10-1 upset. The final time of that mile was 1:48.3. We know Adriano Sorella was dancing on the apron and in the winner's circle, so congratulations to the connections there. I think trainer Scotty DiDomenico had him out in Ohio yesterday.
Yeah, that is right, and we had a couple of upsets yesterday here as well. How about the pick four, Dave?
Ooh.
Day one Thursday, 7,500 for a buck. Yesterday was over 3,400 for a buck. We saw a big upsetter again yesterday. We had a 45-1 on opening day, a 44-1 in the finale yesterday. Margaret Hill for trainer Brian Brown on his birthday.
And that was a mad scramble finish. I don't even know how you called that race. There were about 7 or 8 of them across the track, and your eyes were just going like this, this, and this. But again, we've got that carryover in the Super High Five coming up a little bit later on, so you might want to pencil in a little extra budget for that. You could get lucky and hit another big one.
And a big field there as well, because we could see a very good payout in that high five in this afternoon's 8th and final race. Wouldn't mind seeing the Brian Brown barn pull off an upset in race 2 today as well.
Yes, we would.
We'll get that a little bit later on. Carter Penske continued his reign of dominance here over Grand Circuit Racing. He was 1 for 1 on opening day, 2 for 2. He swept the 2-year-old pacing filly divisions yesterday.
And what a great week it's been for the entire Penske family. Now, Carter making his Grand Circuit debut this week. He's 3 for 3, so it's hard to go any better than that. The fillies that won yesterday, Marlowe Hanover on the front for Dave Miller, Annabelle Hanover for Dexter Dunn with a superb drive there. Has he got any in today? I don't think he had. I don't think he does.
I don't think. I do not believe he does as well. But we'll do it for Carter. He'll have him firing back next week.
Exactly. And the Penske family were co-owners on another winner later in the card, so they made 3 trips to the winner's circle, and I was out there just watching them come on over. Big smiles, lots of high fives and stuff like that. So congratulations to them, and we'll see if they can keep it going.
Yeah, great family, and we do send out our hearty congratulations to the entire Penske crew. You're going to have some good guests on this afternoon, as always.
Yes, we've got Myron Bell of Riverview Racing lined up before the second race. We're going to speak to the sports leading trainer, Ron Burke, before the 5th race on his entrance, and a couple of interesting tidbits about the sale that Ronnie will give us for as well. And we're going to sneak in Marvin Katz a little bit later on. He's got a big cause going, Breeding for a Cause. You see the ad in the official program here, and we'll talk about that. And then the Breeders' Crown Charity Challenge, that's in his backyard up in home base at Woodbine at Mohawk Park. So 3 big interviews today. Lots coming to you from the winner circle as well, and we want to send out a little condolences to one of the former sponsors and major players here in racing. Antoinette Nagito passed away yesterday or the day before. I think she was 90. Of course, she is synonymous with the Joie de Vie farm. Her and her husband Paul operated that, so we send out our condolences there.
Yeah, absolutely. That's on behalf of all of us, of course, here, as they were an integral part of the Red Mile one time there as well. We've got Veterans Appreciation Day. Also tomorrow night, good card, 10 races. The first live race kicks off at 1 o'clock. We've got a lot of festivities prior to that.
We do, and we'll be on the air early. We'll be on hopefully right around noon tomorrow. We're going to have parades and an interview with, I think, a Brigadier General I've got to talk with. That will be a first for me. I've never talked to a Brigadier General, so looking forward to that. And again, we're going to honor our military, and I think that's always the right thing to do.
I think it is as well, and that should be a fun day tomorrow. We're looking forward to that. Again, Veterans Appreciation Day. If you're a veteran, come on out and join us. We've got free food, plenty of great things going on for everyone, for that matter, and some great ceremonies starting tomorrow. That's, of course, sponsored and presented by Texas Day Brazil, which is a great spot, by the way.
We haven't been there yet.
We have not. They'll have free food here tomorrow, so we can get like a sample, before we go.
We better get an early start tomorrow. We've got to be here on time.
Yes, so we should do that as well. Well, let's take a look at the card this afternoon. Again, 8 races. We've seen plenty of upsets, plenty of great wagering opportunities so far over the first couple of days of the Grand Circuit. We move into the opener. It's one of 4 divisions day this afternoon for the 2-year-old Colt and Gelding Pacers, the Stay Hungry. We've got a field of 7 at the opener. We've got the Kentucky Sire Stakes champion taking on the Ohio Sire Stakes champion who's undefeated in Elver Hanover.
What a great matchup this is going to be. This is one of the most anticipated races of the day, and we're going to have it for you right off the back. Elver Hanover, who we got to see up at in Ohio and Delaware in the Ohio Breeders' Championship. He won that day, but even Ron Burke said he didn't win as easily as I thought he did, so I'm sure he'll do a little fine-tuning. He will take on Catch the Fire, who really caught fire here for Mike Wilder and John Ackley in that Kentucky Sire Stakes championship a couple of weeks ago. So 2 great colts in action right off the bat. Who knows, we might set a track record there if the pace is right. Looking forward to it. Which way did you go?
You know, I actually went back to Catch the Fire. He's undefeated. He's just been sensational, Dave. Both of his starts here with us at the Red Mile, both blowout wins. He got a bit of traffic trouble, I think, at that Pennsylvania final prior to that. It's a very talented colt. Just a $15,000 set of Captain Treacherous. Now, those would be hard to find.
I'll tell you what, I can't wait to interview those connections in the winner's circle and get that full story. I've got some background information, but we'll drag it out of Mr. Charles Taylor. He's the owner of Catch the Fire if he wins.
And we don't want to discount Elver Hanover. Of course, he's undefeated. He added Lasix part of that last start. I thought that was a bit interesting. As you mentioned, they set him up. They went to the half 54 and change here at Delaware, and obviously did rally past his rivals late in there. Maybe not quite as sharp, though. It's hard to discount that for him, but interesting to add Lasix on a horse that was doing so well.
Yeah, and it's not often that we see Lasix added to 2-year-olds. So maybe I'll ask Ron Burke about that later when we have him on. He's got a bunch of horses in today. I think he's got 12 horses entered racing, spread over 4 or 5 races. So he's got a lot of races where it's double duty.
Another busy afternoon. Plenty of those throughout the season for trainer Ron Burke, and we will be curious to get his thoughts a bit later on there with you this afternoon, about midway through the card. 50-cent pick 5 going to kick off in the second race. We had a big pool in that yesterday, Dave. We had that carryover going in, but well over 20,000 new money wagered into that 15% takeout pick 5. This is a late closing event. I have a rooting interest, so I will not be giving any selections here.
Okay, and your rooting interest, of course, is number 4, the Quizzer. Quizzer will be out there for Scott Zeron and Brian Brown, so we're going to wish you a whole lot of luck there. Now, my top pick here, I tried to beat the favorite, who will be number 1, Gray Dragon, for Virgil Morgan Jr., David Miller. I just don't know whether that one's going to step up on the big track. The 3, Better Than the Beach, son of Some Beach Somewhere, from the Alanya Armada, racing for some of the connections that bred him, KR Breeding. Those are the Antonacci's preferred equine. That's David Reed. This was Andrew McCarthy's choice. Most of the time he will stay loyal to the Alanya barn. I get that. This is one that was a little bit late to get started, but delivered the goods in his very first start. Got a little extra time off, came back with a maintenance kind of a qualifier that I like the look of that line. I think he'll be ready to go today.
Yeah, and a powerful pedigree as well. He's a son of Some Beach Somewhere, $250,000 year, like last fall, Dave, there at Harrisburg. So he's got a license to pack a powerful punch, and I thought that he did have obviously a big shot in there as well. We'll see how it shakes out.
Yep, Alanya's got 4 in there. I think one of them will win.
Yeah, that's right. He's got half the field. Third race this afternoon is going to kick off the early pick 3. We're going to have a big favorite here, who I think is a slam dunk single in this pick 5. But you are going to try and take a swing to beat the 3 See You at the Beach. 4-trader Brian Brown. He exits the Metro. It was a good 4th there behind a good trio.
Yeah, if anything, he's facing a slightly weaker field here. He probably should win, but when you're looking at 1 to 5, you can't pick 1 to 5s in every race. I like what I've seen from Captain Barbosa, the way he has developed over the course of the season for Alanya. You know, he was ready to go right away early on in baby races, and I think he's gotten better and better and better. Really put it all together last time with that big mile up at Tioga Downs in the kindergarten. It was just one of those steamrolling, overpowering kind of an efforts, and I like when colts do that. So I think he's at the top of his game right now. My only issue, you know me, post 7.
Yeah, that's right. It's going to be tricky to get him involved there. He hasn't left the gate with an abundance of frequency to begin his career. But as you said, that was his first career win, so he does seem to be heading in the right direction. Captain Barbosa likely going to be the second choice there in this afternoon's 3rd race. We move on to the 4th race now, another division of the Stay Hungry here for the Bluegrass Series. We've got the Colton Gelding Pacers. I thought this was a wide open affair, Dave. I thought you'd go a lot of different directions in here. How'd you see things in the fourth?
Well, you and I just switched our top picks, so we kind of ended up the same way. You've got number 3, Manticore. I've got number 4, Cattle Wash, who I think will bounce back off a surprisingly dull effort for the Burke Brigade. Homebred here for Bill Donovan, who we had on the set, thankfully, yesterday. We got to chit-chat with him. Manticore, your top pick, a really good article, I guess it was on U.S. Trotting then, done by Ken Weingartner about that situation. And love to see Bruce Saunders out here. He's had horses for these connections for many, many years.
Yes, and what a colt this is. He's hit the board in all 8 starts. He was used hard in that Pennsylvania Sire Stakes final. Still stayed on to be a very good second there against a good crew. Again, 8 for 8 on the board, 3-time winner already, over $150,000. This is a very talented colt.
It's going to be a good race. And let's not forget Brian Brown there, number 1, Fortify. That's a homebred as well for the Diamond Creek Farm. That's the Bowden family. He wasn't too bad in that final of the Kentucky Sire Stakes behind Catch the Fire. So, if you were looking for an upsetter, maybe him.
Yeah, good, especially that pace scenario set up right there for that inside post for Fortify. Final division for the Stay Hungry Bluegrass Series, the 5th race this afternoon, over 81,000 on the line. Now, I must admit, this race was even difficult to put a morning line on. I'm not sure who's going to be the favorite. It's very difficult. It's hard to dismiss anyone. It's just a wide open crapshoot.
It is, but you've got your long shot of the day in here, so take the stage. Go ahead.
Tell Them Lou is who I'm going to swing with here, David. Four-trader Jim Campbell, Dexter Dunnan's the bike. He was surprisingly dull in his last start, that Pennsylvania Sire Stakes final. I'm just going to dismiss that. I really like the starts prior to that. You'll see 2 starts back there from Harris Fielding. He had a terrible trip. He was stuck out there 3 wide a long way. Ended up staying on. He finished a good 3rd behind Manticore, who we know is a very talented colt. The start prior to that, he beat Poppy Rob Hanover, who was the official champion. So I think this colt actually has got a lot of talent. I think he may get dismissed at an overlay type price this afternoon because he did race a bit dull last time out.
He did, and there's a lot of horses in here that are coming off tough trips or odd mistakes. Number 1, Team Best for Blake McIntosh. Of course, no chance from the back of the pack last time. Roll with JR off some good efforts, finishing second at 42-1 last time. That bred by the Kentuckiana folks, now in the barn of Jeff Cullifer and Tom Pollock. I ended up with Montrell Teagan here. He's going to pick up the assignment for Tony Alagna with number 3, Chief Mate, who was 4-5 against Catch the Fire a couple of starts ago. So when I see that, I always put a little extra circle around that, and we saw what Catch the Fire came back and raced. But Chief Mate then followed that up in the Constellation with a real blowout win right down the road, almost a lifetime best, 151-4. So I think the light bulb went on, and Chief Mate may get a little bit better.
Chief Mate was a colt from the Alagna Armada that was getting a lot of the buzz over the course of the winter, Dave, in South Florida. He has obviously a huge talented string of yearlings and 2-year-olds coming in each year. But Chief Mate really got a lot of buzz down there with all those good colts of Tony's. I know he had a couple of issues early, but I'm like you. It does seem like that light bulb may have came on there. That win of the Kentucky Sire Stakes Constellation, probably even easier than it looks on paper. It was
confidence builder.
It was just a complete wrapped up easy score. So we'll see if Chief Mate bounces back here this afternoon. And again, we do want to point out race 5 kicks off that pick 4. And we had a nice pool yesterday, right at $15,000. That $1 minimum is always going to trigger some nice payouts. We had a couple of very short prices in the sequence yesterday. Again, still over $3,400 for the $1 combination was said and done with that big long shot in the finale. So second leg of the pick 4, got a big field here. It's race 6. It's the lone division for the 3-year-old pacing fillies, over $163,000 on the line here. It's the American Ideal. We do have a scratch of the 10 Prescient Beauty, but still 11 signed on.
What a race this is. This would be the second most anticipated race, maybe even the first that I'm looking forward to today. We've got a real great matchup and rivalry here between Tall Drink Hanover and Zero Tolerance. They both ride winning streaks into this, so something's got to give. You could pick either one. They're both good. Zero Tolerance, though, may have to overcome that second-tier start. She will start behind number 1, Renaissance Lady K. So that might give Andrew McCarthy a little bit of an edge with speed with Tall Drink Hanover. So I'm going to speak to the winning connections after that. I went for the better price simply because I think Zero Tolerance will offer a few more digits on the tote board than Tall Drink Hanover, but believe me, total respect for both fillies.
I agree 100%. I could really have just flipped a coin between those 2 fillies, but I'm like you. I think Zero Tolerance is going to be a bit better price. Even the second tier might inflate that price up a tick or 2. And this is what the Grand Circuit Racing is all about, Dave. You've got horses, as you mentioned, riding win streaks, Zero Tolerance, Tall Drink Hanover, even the Kentucky Sire Stakes champ Beauty on the Beach. She's bounced back in a big way. Of course, the Queen of Ohio, Queen of the Pride. So you get to see these great matchups here on the big stage.
Yeah, this one might even come up with an upset. Treacherous Rain and Beauty on the Beach, both good enough to challenge those favorites.
Okay, on to the 7th race, late closing event here as we get set to kick off the late double. And I am going to try and slip a bit of a price here from the Iowa Fairs. Now, when is the last time you jumped on board here with a horse from the Iowa Fairs? We know one thing for sure, slipping in the clutch to 9, he's tons of best in Iowa. Now, how does that translate on the big stage here at the Grand Circuit, even for a late closer? Who knows? We'll see. Tetrick was listed. He opted off the 2 Millennium. That's the only knock. Colts 10 of 13. He's obviously talented. We'll see how he does over a big track.
Yeah, owned by John DeLong, too, trained by Curtis Carey, so some good Midwest connections there. I went for Sea of Life. Again, I'm all over the Alanya Armada today and Andrew McCarthy. I don't like that post, but this guy's been facing some tough customers, and this is class relief.
And we've got a stakes veteran there in the 7th race as well, Freedom Warrior for trader Kevin Lair. He's obviously probably going to be a favorite in that spot. We both tried him to be close, but a bit of class relief for him this afternoon as well. Okay, 8th race, that's our carryover today. Super high 5. No one had it yesterday, Dave. 1,500 and change. Originally 13. We did scratch the 8 Lady Allaire, so we're down to 12 here, but we'll still have 3 start from the second tier. This is a tough race.
It sure is, and I'm going to take one of those horses that's buried in that second tier. That's the 12 Supergirl Riley for Brian Sears and Renee Allard. I just think she's been facing better horses over the course of her career, and she's recently rebounded back into better form. How's Brian going to do it? Well, I don't drive the horse. I'm going to leave that to him.
Yeah, well, I'm sure he will be able to work out a trip. He was listed on several horses there, the 8th and final, and obviously did opt to the 12 Supergirl Riley. And I went to your second choice, Three Sisters Promise. I thought she may snap to the lead here in this field. She's obviously, it's tough to take back even from post 3 when you've got 3 trailers there and behind. And I really like that effort, 3 back there, Woodbine and the Simcoe. She was winner there, 53 and change. Actually defeated the Ice Duchess. It was a nice filling.
That was the best race she's ever turned in. She's been a little bit inconsistent, but she also has been facing some tough customers along the way. So this is a little bit of a class drop, but remember, this is a race where we've got 3-year-old fillies tackling a couple of older, more experienced mares. So you're going to have to make a decision there.
And one way or other, should be a nice super high 5 pool with that carryover heading into this afternoon's 8th and final race. That's a look at all the action today. We're happy to have you with us. If you are on track or joining us on that simulcasting network. And don't forget, Big Ten race card tomorrow afternoon as well. Veterans Appreciation Day with the festivities getting underway at noon. Best of luck here today. The horses will be on the track for the opener coming up shortly.